Oh, you're muted?
Good evening, everyone. We're here for the regular council meeting of October 18th. We will start with quick introductions, then we'll jump right into it. With us, we have Councillor Joel Lemoine, Councillor Shane Pelche, Assistant CEO Dominic Lemoine, CEO Mitch DeBell, evening. Myself, Chris Ewan. We have Councillor Janine Belanger,
Good evening.
Councillor Jason Bondarchuk, good evening, and our junior councillor Mireille Lemoine. Without further ado, we will go right to the meeting. So item number 1, meeting called to order. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second by Councillor Pelche. Questions, comments before we open the meeting? No, call for the question. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Open the meeting at 7:06 p.m. Item 2, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelche, thank you. Council's good with the agenda. No additions, changes. We're good to just go as is because it's a late public hearing evening. Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Item 3, adoption of the minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Last regular council meeting was held October 4th, whereby we gave first and second reading to the amalgamation of the utility reserves. Third reading is on the docket for tonight. We also released a letter of credit to the developer in the Ile-des-Chênes area. As well, there is an extension that was granted on variance 25-2022, and council entered into a development agreement with Valley Fiber for the Grand Point RCO components out in that area.
Perfect. Council, any comments, changes, additions, questions? Nope. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried by vote. Thank you. Moving on to item 4, committee reports and minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelche, second. Councillor Belanger.
Reports received from Councillor Bondarchuk regarding the Crow Wing Trail and the Reach Out Senior Services as provided on your agenda.
Thank you. Council, any comments on that? No. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Item 5.1, accounts paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelche, second. Councillor Bondarchuk.
2 batches, 17,838 in the amount of 44,800 and 17,856 in the amount of 10,000. Those are in regards to payments done to Receiver General, some concrete blocks, and Winkler canvas regarding that utility tent, storage tent that was purchased by.
Thank you. I'll open up for council questions. Council, comments, questions? No? I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 5.2, accounts not paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Again, 2 batches, 17,843 in the amount of 1.8 million and 17,846 for the amount of 2,700. For the bigger batch, the 1.8 summary has been provided. A lot of that is regarding capital projects and works, the St. Paul daycare, the office expansion, as well as some DFA work being done right now.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Council, any comments, questions? No?
I think the daycare must be one more road taking.
St. Paul daycare, this is number 5. With 2 months to go, I would estimate that 6 and 7 would be on their way, and then there's also holdbacks to be reimbursed, so I don't think we'll be out of the woods till January or February for full payment.
Any other questions? No. Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 5.3, payroll to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelche, second. Councillor Lemoine, thank you.
Employee payroll number 20, no comments there, nothing to report to council, as well as the fire department quarterly 3 report. Again, nothing to report there.
Thank you. Council, any comments, questions?
Pretty quiet.
Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 5.4, transfer of funds. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Belanger.
This is something new that we started just this year. as far as letting council know of the transfer of funds internally as to what's going on. So we had some funds come in for gas tax purposes, so that money was transferred from our general operating to the gas tax. And as you've seen in the expenses, a lot of money going towards the Ile des Chênes and St. Adolphe daycare projects, as well as the office expansion. So some of those reserve funds being transferred to general to pay for that. So just for the daycare funds, those are monies already received from the province, so it's costing the RM nothing.
Thank you. Council, any comments, questions?
Nice to hear that.
Perfecto. Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to public hearings now. So just a quick rundown on how the public hearings will work for the public or those listening online. So I will read the public hearing item. I will then pass it over to Mr. CEO. Then I will open up, after he's done reading, I'll open up the public hearing. I'll ask the applicant if they have any presentation they would like to make, in person, online, or on the phone. After that is completed, I'll ask if there's anyone wishing to speak in favor, in person, online, on the phone. If you're online or on the phone, please unmute yourself, turn on your video if you have good bandwidth, and if you don't, keep your camera off. And then we will go into anyone wishing to speak against, in person, online, or on the phone. Same thing, if you're online or on the phone, please unmute your microphone. I'll then give it one last call after everyone said their piece, if they have any final comments to add, general questions, speaking in favor or objecting, and then I will close the public hearing. At that time, that is for council to debate and discuss. There will be no public engagement after that, and then council will vote. So without further ado, we will move on to 6.1.1, V17, 2023, Granovsky, 431, Grand Point Meadows.
The proposal is to vary the minimum side yard setback of 5 feet down to 6 inches for the purpose of a 10 by 8 storage shed. As per the Planning Act, notifications have been sent to 100 meters of the property, as well as posted on site, put on our municipal website, and also the municipal window.
Okay, Mr. CEO, I'll open the public hearing at 7:13 p.m. Is the applicant wishing to make any presentation right now? Right now, no. Okay, thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of the project in person? Anyone online wishing to speak in favor? Anyone on the phone wishing to speak in favor? Anything received in favor?
Nothing received.
Is there anyone in person wishing to speak against? Anyone online or on the phone wishing to speak against? Anything received against?
One letter received against from Tanner Bryant. I'll give it a quick read.
Yeah, it's very short, so go for
Okay.
it.
So I am writing to express my opposition to the proposed variance to reduce the side yard setback for the construction of the shed at 431 Grand Point Meadows. I believe this granting of this variance would have a negative consequence for this community. Number one, the precedent. Granting this variance might set precedent for future, leading to a gradual erosion of our community standards and regulations. This could pave the way for more variances, further impacting the neighborhood's character. Respecting existing zoning and regulations helps to maintain a sense of fairness and harmony within our community. Granting special privileges to one property may lead to resentment among neighbors and disrupt the social fabric of our neighborhood. Two, the safety concerns. Building a structure with such a small setback raises concerns about safety. Limited space between properties could pose fire hazards, making it difficult for emergency services to access an area in case of need. Allowing variances that lead to structures being built too close to property lines constrain the existing infrastructure, such as drainage systems. Improper drainage due to limited space, proper properties could lead to water accumulation issues impacting the foundations of nearby homes. Three, the aesthetics. Allowing the shed to be constructed just 6 inches away from the property line would negatively impact the visual appeal of the neighborhood. Such close proximity to the property line may obstruct views and create unsightly environment for the neighbors. Aesthetically pleasing and well-maintained neighborhoods contribute to higher property tax values. Allowing variances that compromise the appearance of our community could potentially decrease property values for homeowners in the area. And four, that the fencing building. A reduced side yard setback would limit the space for constructing proper fences. Building too close to property lines could result in insufficient space for standard fencing installation, potentially leading to disputes and challenges among neighbors. Adequate spacing for fencing is essential to avoid boundary issues and maintain clear property lines. I respectfully request that you deny the proposed variance and uphold the existing regulations that have been put in place to maintain governance within our neighborhood.
Okay, I will give it one final call. Is there anyone wishing to speak in person, online, on the phone, in favor or against, or have any general questions or comments before I close the public hearing?
Wasn't really prepared for any opposition, so, I think that just given the situation, I have a unique setup as that I'm not next door to another home. The west side of my property, that is, the backyard of two other properties facing opposite direction. So being somewhat unique really kind of negates a lot of those things that were brought up in opposition, just in my opinion. And as far as, access or drainage or fence, there's a fence already. No fence can be constructed in between it or beside it anyway in that scenario. So again, I think it's just somewhat maybe a unique scenario as opposed to a more general, like, blanket statement. Plus, I have actually seen more than one, whether it was given a variance or not, I don't know, but there are other sheds in the area that I looked at before I applied.
Okay.
So,
Council, do you have any questions for Mr. Bronowski?
Just out of curiosity, the existing fence line on the right-hand side where the shed's gonna be, do you know if that's sitting right on the property line, or sometimes it's?
the fence, I believe, is more or less, the property line is around the middle of the fence, so maybe it's a little bit more than 6 inches. I was just allowing this for 6 inches, maybe it'll end up being a foot from the actual property line, but, yeah, based on the survey, it appears to be like pretty well right in the middle of the fence. So, yeah, the fence being 6 inches wide, 6-inch posts.
And I'm just wondering, the space between the shed and one of the closest corners of your house, that's an overhang. But for you to get, like, you're 10 feet wide, or are we talking like?
So, from the property line to the house on the west side is approximately 10 feet. And then, just given, in that scenario, I couldn't really place it anywhere else without really impacting my access to the backyard, just because of the design of how it was. I was really limited. I would have pushed it to the house, but my air conditioner's there, so it just, I'd have to make a lot of major changes. To be honest, I'd probably just delete the whole thing, which is unfortunate, but.
No, just give it a
Yeah.
Anything else from the council?
Thank you.
Hi, we're just looking at an aerial view of your plan and your map, and it looks beautiful. I commend you for the landscaping out front, and it looks like you've got well thought out process here.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder, sheds, in my opinion, are usually in a backyard. So it looks like you've got a large space. I just wonder why so tight? Why not push it back? I know you said your air conditioning, but it seems like there is a lot of space where you could push it back and push it in closer to your house, away from the property line.
I could push it towards the back of the yard, but it just, I felt aesthetically that this was the best setup. To be honest, I proceeded with a lot of this stuff prior to knowing that there were any rules. So once I've already put it into place, I haven't actually put the shed, but I started working on it before I found out there were any rules, and that was just kind of the location I decided on. So it done quite a bit of, grass is all in, everything's all in already. That's an older photo of it. Yeah, so it would, at this point, would just be a lot of work.
So if you were to say no to this, just hypothetically, do you have a plan B?
The plan B,
you would just not do it.
Would just not do it, which is unfortunate, because now I'm into it about $600 or $700 as it is.
Okay.
So, yeah, I know, it was kind of an oversight on my part. I didn't realize, and I didn't want to
right,
Yeah, it was just,
but there's no other location that you can see that you can.
not really, not without making pretty significant changes to my
Okay.
property.
Okay.
And just aesthetically, I felt that, I had some, to be quite honest, I had a little bit of pushback, not pushback, but just comments from other neighbors that they were hoping that I wouldn't block the open view in the backyard, which, but,
Oh.
so it was just a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
consideration that I thought, okay, well, I'll tuck it away where it's not blocking anything
And then
visually.
the other neighbors to the north, that's their backyard, so.
That would be the west. The north is the driveway.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
sorry.
So, that is at the very
right,
back
yeah,
of their
yeah.
yard, and it would be looking at my house anyway, out of their backyard kind of
Right.
thing. So it was just to kind of leave that open look across all the backyards,
Okay,
as opposed to,
thank you.
yeah.
Anything else from council?
Drainage on that side by the fence, is that, everything's supposed to drain to the road, right?
Yes, and that doesn't impede any, yeah.
And shed would sit on railway ties?
I put 6x6 treated lumber, which, with some rebar, and then just, it was gonna be a patio stones, just as a base. It's not a permanent structure in a way that,
That's what I'm getting.
yeah, I'm planning on putting something that can be removed, say, it's not like I'm building something out of wood that's meant to be there forever. Worst case scenario, it could be moved, say, any repairs required to the fence, I'd happily move it, if necessary.
Anything else from council? No? Okay, thanks, Rod, I appreciate that. Final call before I close the public hearing. Any comments? I'll close the public hearing at 7:22 PM. Do I have a mover? Councilor Belonte, second, Councilor Pelletier.
Therefore, be it resolved that variation application V17/2023 is approved. The original resolution read with no conditions, however, I'd like to put in the drainage clause that we standardly put in these, situations, which would be that, with the conditions that drainage is not affecting neighboring properties.
Okay, council's good with that.
I'm okay.
Debate.
Okay, we'll open up for council discussion. Council? Anyone want to start?
It's a tough little thing, it's a shed, right? But it could set precedent, but if you thought well out of where to put it, to take those neighbors into consideration.
It's movable.
I have an issue with the bylaw, to be honest with you. The setbacks on the shed, this isn't setting precedent, we've discussed this many times. I prefer to see 6 inches, and you can't pile all your,
Yeah, excellent.
treasures next to it. But, it's a little late in the game to be doing that today.
Mhm.
And as far as the fence and getting changed or replaced, that's the community fence. No one's touching that in 30 years. We'll all be long gone over that.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Councilors, anything else? I'll call for the question, all those in favor? Opposed, none, that is carried, thank you. Before we move on, you guys are welcome to leave,
Mhm.
or you could stay and watch
Watch the show.
the show.
We have popcorn.
Okay. Okay, moving on to 6.1.2, V18 2023 McCray 108 Leclerc Bay.
The proposal is to vary the minimum required distance between a principal building and accessory building from 8 feet to 4 feet to allow for the construction of a detached garage. Again, notices were sent according to the Planning Act to 100 meters within the said property, as well as, posted on our, website, the notice board here at the office, also posted at the Sandville Case, Sandville Esso, and connect message was sent.
Thank you. I'll open the public hearing at 7:25 PM. Is there anyone wishing to, is the applicant wishing to make a presentation?
I'm here, but I'm not going to.
You're not ready? Okay, sounds good. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor in person Anyone wishing to speak in favor online or on the phone? Anything received?
Nothing received?
Anyone wishing to speak against in person? Come on up, sir. Just your name for the record, sir.
Yeah, Marvin Robbins, 104 The Cliff, next door.
Okay.
To start with, I haven't seen a architectural drawing in this place. I don't know if it's in front, I don't know if it's in the back, I don't know if it's 20 feet high or 10 feet high. We don't know anything. And that should have been a priority. But I want to point something out to you. If you put it on, and I think there's only one side you can put it on. If you put it on the side of the house, not only is it aesthetically ugly, but you're going to create a wind tunnel and an absolute tunnel for the neighbor that's got to put up with it between his proposed garage and their front door. Can you imagine what that's going to be like in the wintertime? Again, I have to stress, I don't know where this is going. Now, I will tell you, I don't have a problem with it, is he already has a driveway going to the back, towards this fence. If he wants to put it in his backyard and his neighbors don't mind, I don't care less. But do I want to see it in the front of the yard? Attached, or separated from an entire home? Absolutely not. We moved here 7 years ago, one reason. I got a bungalow, I can find a bungalow anywhere. But we have huge spaces between the homes, and that's what attracted us to St. Adolphe. And I've watched over the years, as we've made allowances for various people, this is one that should not be made 4 feet from a property line. I don't know if that even includes the hangovers. I don't know how deep this thing is going to be, is it 26 feet, 24 feet deep, 22 feet deep? Don't know. So am I opposed? Unfortunately, yes. He's got the land in the back of his yard, he wants to put it there, feel free. Doesn't affect me aesthetically, but it will affect the people next to it. And that's up to them to put their complaint in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Council, do you have any questions for the gentleman before you?
Just wanted to make note, the 4 feet is between the house and the garage, it's not to the property line. The property line still has proper spacing that it requires.
Then he doesn't have enough space. It only is about 12 feet. I don't know about you, but most garages are 24 by 24. That's what I'm saying, there's been no architectural drawing included with this.
We're just confirming. 12 by 24?
I don't know.
I'm just looking at, current property. So, within the application, there are some drawings, from the, builder supplier, regarding construction. One question that remains is that, it is a minimum 20 width if there's a 16-foot overhang door. Then it's a 20-foot wide, garage. But yet the length of the garage is, marked down here as length as required. So there's some ambiguity with the drawings, I guess depending how far back they go, they just add to the rafters and whatnot. But, it looks like it's 20 feet wide.
So does that interrupt, as the objector is saying, does that interrupt the distance, the legal distance? Or alter the distance between the legal amount?
1.8. Quick measurement there.
Well, his drawing is showing 16 feet from the house to the edge of the garage, and then,
So it looks like he's got 25 feet from the house to the property line to the north.
So so he's.
I don't know which side you're looking at, north side or south side, but definitely on the south side you don't. And on the north side, how do you have it? There might be 30 feet between the houses.
Joel, can you show the gentleman this photo, just so he knows where we're looking?
He's showing 9 feet to the property line from the edge of the garage.
His house on my house. No, the left hand side of his house, your house.
Oh, you're over here?
According to the drawing, it looks only like it's 12 feet
That's
wide.
108, that's 112.
You know, you decide when to.
It looks like the garage is only 12 feet wide according to the drawing.
I don't,
Well, that's the thing.
I haven't measured it, I don't know, but I don't think it's 50 feet.
We just measured it right here with our mapping.
Yeah, I've got about,
It should be 25 feet according to his numbers.
112, 112.
what I just did.
It's just a wind tunnel more than
So it
anything else.
conforms, it's fine, it does no variance on
On the side yard.
the side.
Well, then, yeah, then the whole side yard kicks in, because then you need the 4 feet from the house, and then take the 20
Yeah.
feet, so then you're right on property line, so then you would also need variance for the side yard, to come into play, which has not been applied by.
As is requested, the side yard is not in play. It's in distance between the house and the garage that's in
Correct. But if,
to make the house and the garage work, then it's a variance on the side yard.
correct,
Okay, let's continue the public hearing.
Yes.
We appreciate the information, we will debate this before we make any decision, but I do appreciate that, and we've noted it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else wishing to speak against in person? Anyone online or on the phone wishing to speak against? Anything received against?
nothing received?
One final call, is there anyone wishing to make any general comments, answer, ask any questions, speak in favor or against, in person, online, or on the phone?
I'm the applicant, I can speak for it.
Sure, come on.
I'm just attempting to build a 12 by 24 garage next to my existing garage. There's 25 feet of side yard between my house and the property line. The other property to the north is built very close to the property line as it is. They have a ton of side yard to the north, which I think skews the perception that there's not a lot of space there. But we did the math on it. The only reason why we're here today is because the variance requires me to be 8 feet away from my existing garage. And if I push it, if I agree to that, I could just proceed with none of this. But I don't want it to be as close to my neighbors to the north as the bylaws currently says. So I wanted to move it over closer to the existing garage to be less impactful to my neighbor to the north. The plans that were submitted were back and forth with the building inspector, and I think Tanya, that no longer is with here. This is my first time doing anything like this, so she kind of helped me through the process. So the plans that are there were just construction plans provided by by McMunn and Yates, who's doing the supplying. And I provided the drawings, like how big the structure's gonna be and where it's gonna be and all that. And that's how I found out I need to be 8 feet away. So that's why so as far as any of whether or not this can be done, the question isn't whether or not this can be done, because I fit into all the other bylaws that are there, it's just where it is. So if this isn't approved, I don't really wanna build it 8 feet away, because there's more cost in concrete and all of that. We went down the path of adding on to the existing garage, and it was prohibitively expensive with piles and all sorts of integration to the current thing. So based on what I see throughout our development in other areas, there's other folks with detached, either next to their homes or next to their garages or on their properties as well. We have enough side yard to do it. Felt that this would be an appropriate thing and to match the rest of the houses.
Okay, appreciate it. Council, do you have any questions?
When you say further away from the garage, are you talking further away to the left-hand side north?
Yes.
Or push it back?
I was told I had to be at least 8 feet away
from the house, so the outside of my other garage. So I'd have to be 4 feet closer to my neighbor to the north, which I didn't want to be.
And
I would still fit in with, like, the setbacks and all of that to be there, but I didn't want to go through that. I personally kind of feel the bylaw's a little ridiculous, but that's neither here nor there for this particular thing. So, I was happy just to pay and be able to put it where I think it would make most sense.
So is there a willingness, or is there a reason why it's not pushed a little bit further back? This is what I'm saying.
I didn't want to take up any more of my backyard. I have a large side yard that is relatively unused right now, and it seemed like a decent place to put it. It's set back from the front of the garage, so it's not sticking out closer to the road. It's about 12 feet back from the front of the garage,
Sorry, how far back from the front of the garage?
12 feet.
12 feet back.
It's 36 feet, the depth of my garage there, because there's a push out in the 12 by 20, or 24 by 24 garage with a, like, kind of a pushback in the, underneath that's 36.
And you're going 12 feet across, right?
12 feet wide, 24 feet back. And the back of the new, detached garage will line up with the back of the existing.
Oh, okay, I see what you.
Yeah, the back of this shed will butt up against, it might be taken down.
Yes, I think the plan is to remove that. There's a piece of fencing there. We have to modify that too. Our original plan was to add on, and then once that became cost prohibitive, it was like, okay, what's the next best plan? This was kind of it, so.
So what's the height to the peak, and you have an overhead door on that, too?
Yes, there'll be overhead doors on front and back. It'll be the same height as the existing garage, which has 10-foot high walls. So when you look at the front of the house and the garage, once it's built, they'll be aesthetically identical.
Anything else from council? Are you gathering information? Yeah, Councillor Felch, before I, excuse them? 1 second.
So the east drop from the existing garage and the south side of the new build goes, assuming there is one, still flows along the driveway to the front of the yard?
Yeah, it will be graded that way, in between the two. The lot is graded back to front right now, sort of away from the house towards the north, and there's kind of, I don't know, there's a very visible dip when you drive by there that allows for drainage.
You agree? Yeah. Thank you. Okay, final call, anyone wishing to make any comments? Online, on the phone, in person, seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 7:38 PM. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lamont, second. Second, sorry, Councillor Anderson.
Therefore, be resolved that variation application V18/2023 is approved with the following conditions: that the applicant must obtain a building permit from the RM office for the proposed garage. The applicant must submit building plans. 3, the garage must be constructed with a fire rating soffit on the south side, and 4, that drainage shall not affect the neighboring properties.
Thank you. I'll open up for council discussion, debate. Anyone want to start?
What do we have for conditions on that, sorry?
Building permits, submit building plans, fire rating soffit on the south side, and drainage not to affect neighboring properties.
For the amendment that we add, exterior to match the house.
Good with that, address, council?
Mm-hmm.
Councillor Felton?
That's it for me.
Anything else from council?
Sorry. The only thing that he said was like, make sure the front does not go past the existing garage. Which you already said.
He said the
Is,
distance.
yeah, it should be fine, but just,
Put it in writing, or make sure the plans show it,
yeah,
setting back. Okay.
if you guys are fine with that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that seems to be the objection, that it's just too far in the line of sight of neighboring property, but it's neither here nor there, like, as far back as possible, but he's thought of his plan, and,
Yeah, if he moved it the 4 feet, so he wouldn't have the conditional, he would've,
could've put it anywhere.
could have been building it already.
Yeah.
So it's,
It's conforming north, or up and down, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually getting pushed further away from that neighbor now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna call for the question, all those in favor? Opposed, none, that's carried. Thank you. Before we move on, you guys are welcome to leave, or you can stick around for the rest of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on. 6.2.1, C24, 2023, JJM Enterprises, RL 622, Plan 4123.
The proposal is to allow a single-family dwelling and attached garage in the agricultural limited zone. And according to the Planning Act, sent out to 100 meters of the said property. Also posted on site, as well as the municipal board, municipal website, the connect message was sent out.
Perfect, I'll open the public hearing at 7:42 PM. Is there, a presentation from the applicant in person, online, or on the phone?
It's me, I've got no presentation, but I do have the explanation.
Sure, just council, come on up.
I've got a 40-acre parcel of land, which is 80% trees, and was looking at building a single-family home with a detached garage. There'd be no use of actual agricultural land, as it would all be built within the tree line. Other than that, I have no drawings for the home as of yet. I was more or less waiting for, see if it's possible to get the conditional permit for it.
It's for personal use, like you?
Personal use, yeah.
Council, any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I was curious, the driveway would run along the tree line, or just,
The intention was to run it into the tree line.
and elevation of the property?
It needs to be raised approximately 11 feet at the location of the,
Anyone else?
Just wanna see, are you on the side of preserving trees?
yes, actually, looking at
Minimal
preserving, that was the
condition.
whole intention with buying that particular piece of land, was 2 parcels. And the intention was to preserve the trees in the forest but build a home on it.
Excellent.
So if the wildlife can keep living there, except
That
if
is
you get coyotes, you have my permission to shoot.
No, we enjoy watching the deer.
Oh, sorry.
Your dog had an issue with coyotes, so.
If you're wondering why the backstory first comes.
Perfect.
I'm good, yeah.
Thank you.
Looks like a great spot for a tree stand. Yeah, that's a heck of a driveway you're gonna have there, so.
Mhm.
Councilor Belanger would probably prefer you kept more trees than got rid of for the driveway, but
Driveway, yeah, if you could be on the north side or whatever, yeah, that,
We could build the driveway, access driveway on the north side of
that's the trees,
the
yeah,
trees, yeah.
that would be, if you can, that'd be great.
Okay,
yeah, questions.
okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else, anyone in person wishing to speak in favor? Anyone online or on the phone wishing to speak in favor? Anything received in favor?
Nothing received?
Anyone wishing to speak against, in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received against?
Nothing received?
One final call, anyone wishing to make any final comments, speak in favor, against, online, on the phone, or in person? close the public hearing at 7:45 PM. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lamont, second by Councillor Boulanger.
Therefore, be resolved that conditional use C 24-2023 is approved with the following conditions: that the applicant obtains a building permit from the Arnold Reach-Out office. 2, submitted plans are to include detailed architectural drawings stamped by an engineer. 3, the applicant is to obtain a flood elevation permit and septic field permit from the province. 4, that the applicant is to provide a drainage plan study to ensure proper drainage to the property and surrounding areas so drainage does not affect the adjacent properties. And 5, that the applicant will sign a confirmation letter accepting the terms of the order, and there may be site audits conducted to ensure compliance, and any non-compliance issues may be caused to revoke the conditional use.
Thank you. We'll open it for council debate. Council, anything else to add? Do you want to have a friendly amendment to that? Do we build a tree fort for Councillor Pelche to?
Okay. No, okay, can I just ask where he presently lives, out of curiosity?
I live on the lot, just north of.
Oh, just in, okay.
Any serious questions?
No, that was talking to myself.
Nothing? Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. That's it for public hearings. You guys are welcome to all leave. Stick around for the real good stuff. Thank you guys. Have a good night. Thank you. Give it 1 minute. Okay, moving on to 8.1 bylaw 11, 2023 water and wastewater utility reserve fund, third reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second Councillor Pelche.
So before we're able to do the amalgamation of the utilities, we need to provide third reading for the bylaw, and our CFO has updated the interest as of September, so that's also part of your numbers there, just over 1.8 million in reserves when amalgamated together.
Excellent. Council, any comments, questions?
We need to wait for municipal relations to sign off on it now, or is it, it's our walking?
Our,
Okay. Awesome.
Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 9.1.1 NTI permission for speed reader board, Main Street, Sandoval, northbound school zone. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Lemoine.
The list that you have right now is currently what we are allowed to move our radar detector or radar reader device. The request is to add another one to just south of the Sandoval School area to monitor northern traffic. So this is only for the Sandoval area. I would challenge councillors to provide locations with, for their communities as well, to be able to provide us that information, and we'll make application if we want to move around those signs in your communities as well.
I think St. Louis got us covered.
Thank you.
Very covered, Ron.
Thank you, Mr. CEO.
Well, I'd like to request one, Waverly Good will just get stolen, so we're good.
Did you want to put that officially? Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Bondarchuk, did you want to?
No, I'm fine, I'm sure I can convince Mr. Pelche that this is a good idea.
Do we still have did I leave that polling that we used to have there for this?
So it's going this way, it was out further by Turon Creek, it's like they pick up the whole thing and just dig a new hole and stick it in.
No, one time we had one down here a few years back, so I think you might have pulled it.
Public Works will work with MIT and see what you can do.
Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Moving on to, there's no opposition on that? Okay. No, 11. Okay. 9.2.1, September 2023 building permit reports. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelche, second Councillor Boulanger.
Stats have been provided by, our planning. Number of permits for 23 in September is 22 compared to 19 last year. Total value of 3.4 million in construction with $10,000 in the permit fees. In comparisons to year to date, we're at 192 compared to 193, 47 million compared to 47 million, and 112,000 compared to 138,000. So we're just lower in building fees, but the number of permits and values are approximately the same.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Still a great year, 2023, strong.
Considering that.
Considering 2022 was one of the better years, was it not, I think?
21 for sure, 22 slowed down a little bit, but
Yeah, still good, it's very strong. Great to see that in the shop. Anything else? Call for the question, all those in favor? That's carried, thank you. And moving on to adjournment. Do I have a mover? Counselor, can she move it? No, I don't think so. No. Counselor Lemoine, second. Counselor Pelletier, before we close, is there anything the junior counselor would like to discuss? In general, we have all night, so please fill the void.
I don't think so.
No, we'll get you there one day. So, okay, perfect, other than that, I will.
Maybe one.
Yeah, it was amazing, exactly. I'll call for the question, all those in favor? That is carried. I'll close the meeting at 7:52 PM. Thank you very much, have a good evening, everyone, and stop recording.